Welcome to the Czech Republic, the architectural heart of Europe. A country veiled in stories and history, adorned by Gothic monasteries, Baroque churches, Renaissance palaces, and expansive decorated gardens. The Czech Republic holds unparalleled status as a leading historical destination. Laying your eyes on the massive walls of medieval castles, or finding yourself in the labyrinths of historical centers of Czech towns, you'll feel like Alice when she fell through the looking glass. A powerful and tangible link with history is the reason 12 remarkable Czech historical sites have been written into the UNESCO World Heritage List. Although time takes its toll, the noble heritage of Czech history withstands this test of time and shines as in centuries past, blending gracefully with modern lifestyle, standing side by side with state-of-the-art buildings. In the Czech Republic, you can immerse yourself in the richness of the past and bathe in the glory of the present. As it was long ago, the heart of Europe is a place of inspiration, of beautiful tales of courage, of love, and of discovery. The royal town of Český Krumlov is high up on the must-see list. Here, visitors can paddle the romantic river Vltava by canoe and admire the historical center rising high above the meandering river that envelops it. As if time has stood still, wonderfully preserved Renaissance and Baroque houses tell tales of when the Czech lands were ruled by the Vitkovci, Rožmberk, and Schwarzenberg aristocratic lineages. Český Krumlov owes its unusually rich historical legacy to these families. Krumlov's Old Town is dominated by the second largest castle complex in Europe. In the 16th century, the original Gothic castle was converted into a Renaissance palace, resplendent with vast Italian-style gardens. Today, the gardens are maintained in the style of an English park. Don't be misled by the quiet simplicity of the nearby village of Holášovice. Its storied history dates back 8 centuries. Experience it firsthand when studying the immaculately preserved original village plan. One can admire so-called South Bohemian folk Baroque on the picturesque facades of these rustic buildings. Originating at the end of the 19th century, this architectural style blends classicism and Baroque in a folk manner. Uneducated craftsmen lovingly and precisely replicated the work of great architectural masters, without the master's benefit of mathematics and geometry. This legacy of the past still resonates in today's life, where traditional craftsmen exhibit their skills. And come summer, you can even experience the festive Celtic celebrations of the summer solstice. Moravian Kroměříž served as the summer residence to the archbishops of Olomouc from the 12th to the 19th century. Their influence strongly resonates in the layout and design of the town. Known for its intense development of education, Kroměříž was nicknamed the Athens of Hana. There is really plenty to see here. The historical Baroque palace, commissioned by Karl II in the 17th century, was built by Italian architects Lucchese and Tencala. Richly decorated salons not only served bishops, but more recently, Czech film director Miloš Forman. He featured this fantastic palace as one of the settings in his Academy Award-winning film, Amadeus. Though Mozart may no longer be with us, his music in any case lives on, with a sensational festival of classical music at the end of each summer. The adjacent flower gardens, one of the best preserved in Europe, invites guests to explore its leafy architectural history. East of Prague, the tale of Kutná Hora is one of treasure and fame. The development of the town is closely linked to the discovery of silver, from which the first Prague coins were made. Thanks to its silver, Kutná Hora was Europe's wealthiest town in the 13th century. During the 14th century, the sovereign family stayed here and seriously considered making Kutná Hora the capital of the entire empire. Their ambitions were significant: 2 Gothic cathedrals in a single town, something entirely unique in Europe, giving the town an air of importance. The Cathedral of St. Barbara, the patron saint of miners, is strong competition in size to the cathedral in Prague Castle. Near the second cathedral, the Cathedral of Our Lady at Sedlec, you'll find a unique ossuary. Its unusual decor is made up of the skeletal remains of 2 plague epidemics and the victims of the Hussite War. In total, it holds the remains of more than 40,000 souls. From the kingdom of death, we move to the kingdom of life. The Lednica-Valtica cultural landscape, situated in the southernmost corner of Moravia. The motto of the Liechtensteins, "The light of torches does not glow more than the light of diamonds," may be interpreted literally or as a metaphor. The lavishly decorated classical and neo-Gothic style of the castle unabashedly boasts the wealth of its owners. Applying the British Anglo-Chinese philosophy of gardening to a 300 square kilometer landscape, the Liechtensteins fulfilled their dreams of creating the world's largest garden. This also makes the garden the largest UNESCO heritage site in the Czech Republic. Diverse structures within make the garden a unique open-air museum. A triumphal arch, the colonnades, or an Islamic minaret, among other things. Enjoy these sights while sipping a glass of good Moravian white wine that has won praise and victory in prestigious international wine competitions. Chronicles dating back to the 10th century document the merchant town of Litomyšl. The center is dominated by an imposing 16th century arcade palace in the Italian style that, despite several latter alterations, is maintained in almost its original state. Unlike its Italian counterparts, the palace's arcades are uniquely placed on individual stories. The word unique has many meanings in Litomyšl. Case in point, its one-of-a-kind graffiti decor. One may uncover the long-gone lives of Czech nobility while roaming these decorated chambers. But don't be fooled. The palace did not serve gentry alone. World-renowned music composer Bedřich Smetana was born in one of the palace buildings to the family of a brewer. Smetana is not the only famous native. In nearby Svitavy, Otakar Schindler, the savior of hundreds of Jewish victims of the Nazis, was brought into the world. Nearby, the Baroque Basilica Minor on the Holy Hill is just the beginning of the splendid journey through the archdiocese city of Olomouc, which until the 17th century was the second largest city in the country. The importance of Olomouc has been suppressed by various wars, but never been lost, and today reflects its important cultural legacy. The 35-meter-high Holy Trinity column from the 18th century celebrates God, symbolizing gratitude for the end of the plague epidemic in Moravia. Local craftsmen carved the Baroque statues lining it, making it a purely local monument. The measurements of the column made the Prussian army avoid it while bombarding the town in 1758. Or perhaps it was just the intense aroma of traditional Olomouc cheese that drove the soldiers away. That is something you'll have to find out for yourself. Preserved statues decorate the square in Telch, a town strongly linked to the merchant routes in the southwest of Moravia. The town lies among the ambling Telch stream. The stream's widening not only created formidable water fortification, but also inspired Telch's nickname, Moravian Venice. Its historical center is among the most valuable preservations in Moravia. A keen observer should not miss the original Baroque castle, which was later rebuilt by Italian architects into a Renaissance palace. The influential Lord Zacharias of Hradec lived here in the 16th century. Telch's current beauty is owed in large part to the rapid economic development Zacharias fostered, as well as his extensive business contacts. The Gothic Church of St. Jacob, or the late Roman tower of the Church of the Holy Spirit, should not be missed. And if you plan your visit for the end of July, you can enjoy the festive atmosphere of Telch's annual folk festival. As with architectural styles, religions in the Czech Republic have always blended naturally and dynamically. Třebíč, in western Moravia, is a perfect example of this. It is simultaneously an important center of both Christian and Jewish culture. Benedictine monks had the Basilica of St. Prokop built in the 12th century. Its Roman and Gothic elements blend seamlessly. The monastery also served as a fortress during times of religious wars, or as an armory, storage, stables, and even as a brewery. By the way, beer still flows freely here, especially around the beginning of May, when you can partake in the biggest beer folk festival. The vast Jewish community in Třebíč is commemorated in the form of the Old Jewish Quarter, made up of common houses. Along with Prague's Jewish Quarter, Třebíč is the only Jewish monument on the UNESCO World Heritage Sites list outside of Israel. The Jewish town is accompanied by a vast Jewish cemetery with thousands of headstones. Near Žďár nad Sázavou, you'll find the pilgrimage church of St. Jan of Nepomuc at Zelená Hora. Here, in the 17th century, the Czech builder Jan Blažej Santini Eichel paid his compliments to the Prague vicar Jan of Nepomuc, who was tortured to death in the 14th century. Legend has it that a crown and 5 stars appeared above his deceased body. Santini used the motif of this mystical legacy throughout the building. The church has a 5-pinnacle ground plan. It may be entered through 5 entrances, and once within, you will discover 5 altars with 5 angels above. Besides its excellent Christian symbolism, the church is an example of Baroque Gothic style. Santini intermingled the Baroque style of his era with the Gothic style that reigned during the life of Jan of Nepomuk. The church at Zelena Hora is much more than breathtaking. The beauty of this incredible edifice leaves one speechless. The builders of the Czech Republic have never been overlooked. In 1930, Mr. and Mrs. Tugendhat commissioned the founder of the functionalist architecture, Ludwig Mise van der Rohe, to build a villa for them in Brno. It defies both time and space. The building has 3 stories and was furnished by van der Rohe himself. Windows in the main living space retract into the floor, allowing the interior of the villa to blend with its natural surroundings. A very unique and, in its time, extremely expensive onyx wall allows the sun to permeate the work area, changing its hue according to the time of day. At the onset of World War II, Mr. and Mrs. Tugendhat were forced to leave the Czech Republic due to the graduating Nazi threat, but their villa stands as a monument protected by UNESCO, witnessing the origins of a modern living concept. All roads in the Czech Republic lead to Prague, the traditional seat of political power and education. The peaceful current of the river Vltava is a mute witness to more than 10 centuries of development. 12 bridges proudly span its banks, the most famous of which, the Charles Bridge, is decorated by 30 Baroque statues. The bridge bears the name of Emperor Charles IV, who in the 14th century was responsible for extensive development of education, trade, and construction throughout the city. Prague saw further development in the 16th century under the reign of Emperor Rudolf II. He invited a number of builders from across Europe to add their unique touches to the already renowned city. Prague is nicknamed the City of 100 Spires, Golden Town, or the Mother of all towns, and it is no wonder. The captivating genius loci of Prague have inspired artists throughout the centuries. Built on almost 900 hectares, the historical center is dominated by Prague Castle and its St. Vitus Gothic Cathedral. There is probably no better example of the blending of time and architecture than Prague Castle. The building was under construction for almost 600 years, from 1344 through to 1929, when its western section was completed. Prague has never closed its gates to new influences, and so alongside Gothic cathedrals, Baroque churches, and Renaissance palaces, you'll also discover elements of Cubism and Classicism. Even today, Prague openly welcomes the latest architectural trends. Prague inspires the world, and at the same time is inspired by the world in return. Its pulsating life charges visitors and residents alike with its energy. Nowhere else will you find such synergy between historic and modern lifestyles. Visit Prague soon, and don't be surprised finding yourself returning time and time again. The Czech Republic proudly contributes 12 historical gems to UNESCO's World Heritage List. Come and experience the unique symphony of Czech beauty. Listen to rich tales of Europe's history. Have your dreams come true in the Czech Republic.